eyes health. So this week, we're going to share on the stomach health, which I very happy because when I saw this launching of this product, I immediately think of a lot of friends around me already, because I have many friends who have the stomach disorder, even including my own family, like my mom. Okay, so of course, previously, we also can recommend something based on the existing Nutrilite products that we have. For example, we normally recommend protein, we recommend probiotics, we also recommend calcium, magnesium, D, all those that might help the gut health, and then also at least can ease some discomfort. And now it's really glad because we have this new product, which is specially targeted for this disorder in our stomach health. Even if you don't have any disorder, this is very great product that actually can help to protect and also improve the current stomach health. Okay, so before we go into this product particularly, I think it's, as usual, it's important for us, all of us, to know what is about our stomach. Okay, things that we need to know about our stomach, right? So I think stomach is not something that new to any one of us. Of course, I think everyone know where our stomach is. And then as stated here, you can see our stomach is basically a J-shaped organs that lies between the esophagus and also our small intestine. So esophagus is the tunnel that actually connecting our mouth to our stomach. And then intestine is the first place that will the food will go to after leaving our stomach. Right, so stomach become a very important part in between these two process. Okay, so whatever food that we put into our body, we will chew first, and then the moment we swallow it, the next place that they go to is our stomach. Right, so I'm not sure whether you have wondered what is the function of our stomach before, but here is to summarize 3 main functions of our stomach. First, of course, is a temporary storage for our food. So as we all know, after you chew, go to the stomach, okay, it will be temporarily stored there before it moves further to our small intestine, and then being big intestine, after all the nutrition being absorbed, then it will be output from the body. So that's the first function. So the second function basically is to mixing and also the breakdown of our food. So I think many of us often heard that if, let's say, we want to improve the digestive, one of the easy way is actually to chew your food as small as possible, so that when it goes to your stomach, right, the breakdown process and also the mixing process can be easier. So definitely it will help our digestive system. So thirdly is the digestions of the food. Okay, so this is where even after being break down into smaller pieces, you will further being break down into even smaller pieces for the digestion purpose. So that means at this stage of time, our food will actually become a form whereby it's easy for our body to absorb the nutrition when it goes to the small intestine, especially those vitamins and so on. Okay, so the stomach of every individual is different. It varies by every person body size, and of course, how much they have eaten, because throughout your lifestyle, you will also enlarge or actually make our body to accommodate the size of your stomach. Okay, so on the left hand side, you can see that's basically where our stomach is. Of course, you can also feel your stomach by putting your hand at the left hand side of your abdomen. Okay, so that is basically where our stomach roughly located at. So of course, just now we also mentioned some other organs, including esophagus, large intestine, small intestine. But here there's something that not being listed here, which I want to point out, so that later on you can have a better understanding when we talk about that part. So that part that not being shown in this picture, not being labeled in this picture, is our spleen. So I'm not sure whether you know where is our spleen. So spleen is basically on the top left hand side of our stomach. Okay, so in this picture it will be on the right hand side because it's the left of this girl, right? But on your own body is on the top left, okay, of your stomach. Okay, so that means it's roughly on the top right hand side here in this picture. Okay, so what is the spleen actually, the function of the spleen? So basically it's very important also in terms of our immune system, because spleen is the one that actually produce all the enzyme and also our immune cell, okay, to prevent any antibacterial, and also to actually build our immune system in our digestive system and also in our body. Okay, so that's the function of spleen. So now if let's say we drill down further to understand our stomach, right, you can see the first function that we mentioned just now, the food storage tank, is like a food storage tank. So basically whatever we eat, we chew, go into our body, it will be processed here. But if let's say we look it into a more detail, you can saw that it's being shown here. There's two important layers that we have to learn today. First is actually the mucus gel layer. So the mucus gel layer basically is a gel form of thing that actually produced by our mucosa layer. Okay, so the mucosa layer is the one that actually produce this gel so that it lays along with on the surface of our stomach to protect us, and also at the same time it also play the role in digestion. Okay, so you can see on the left hand side it stated that the mucosa is densely packed with gastric glands. So our gastric, all that is being produced by all these glands. So you go into this stomach area and then start to digest all this food with the acid nature of the liquid. Okay, and then it also contains cells that actually produce digestive enzyme. So other than the stomach acid that we often know, there's also enzyme. Okay, and then also hydrochloric acid is the stomach acid, and then also the mucus. So the mucus is the one that actually will layer up our stomach to protect it from infection, from other bacteria, virus, all that, and at the same time also to protect the stomach from any injury. Okay, so that basically the function of the gel and also the mucus being put out. Okay, so some of the common symptoms of our stomach, okay, when it's not healthy, these are a lot of common symptoms, especially I think for Malaysian, doesn't matter what is your age group, you often heard people have all these symptoms. Okay, later we will check together why Malaysian always have this. Okay, so first of course is ingestion. Ingestion is that means you feel that you don't have a good digestive system, always feel discomfort when it comes to the digestion process. Like that means after you eat, you feel this ingestion feeling. Okay, and then second, bloating. Bloating, I would like to point it out together with belching. So belching and bloating, basically they are very similar, but for bloating, both also related to gas. You will feel very gassy and all that, but bloating normally is more towards the upper part of our abdomen. So the upper part, that means right after you eat, you immediately feel the upper part of your abdomen discomfort already. You keep want to burp, you could want to have these bloating symptoms. Okay, while bleaching, it could go further down one. Okay, belching, it could go further down. That means the gas might pass further to your small intestine, and then when it comes to when you poo all that, then you feel the gassy thing. Okay, and then thirdly is the gastric pain. So I think gastric pain is getting more and more common, especially nowadays. So many people that didn't eat on time, and then they are rushing for works. They don't know how to prioritize. I mean, prioritize work rather than prioritize our own life routines, right? So this is a common issue that we face nowadays. So gastric has been developed not because of genetic, it's because of lifestyle most of the time. And then we also have heartburn. Heartburn, it could be due to gastric. When it worsen, it can actually cause the acid reflux, or it could be happen even without gastric issue. That means heartburn is something that when you have that reflux, then you actually burn down your esophagus and all that. You feel sore throat, there will be a serious swollen, all that. Okay, so this is also due to the digestion issue. Okay, so belching, just now you mentioned already, poor appetite is also related to our stomach health. Okay, because like I mentioned just now, so our stomach will actually put out a lot of enzyme and also things that help our digestion. So when the digestion is always not smooth, it will also affect you as a person, the mood to eat. Okay, you don't feel like eating because of, you know that after eat, always discomfort. So that kind of psychology will also cause us to have this poor appetite issue. And then of course, hiccups is also related to gas, or that, and it could be due to the choice of diet that we have also that cause us to have that. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you have that. Okay, but basically when I saw this being launched, I immediately think of all these symptoms that happen around our friends. So just now I mentioned why I said is Malaysian is always prone to this stomach issue is because Malaysia got too many great food already. So as shown in this slide, right, you can see Malaysian fruit, to be frank, they are very delicious, very nice food. But if we ask ourselves, are they really stomach friendly? Okay. Of course, for young people, or even if you ask me many years ago, I would say, oh, it's friendly because I don't feel anything after I eat. But now, if you ask me again the same question, I might give a different answer already. I mean, along aging, you will start to feel that the stomach cannot cope up with all these spices, all this heavy taste, and all this oily food anymore. So it's just a matter of when your body will start to deteriorate, and then when the mucous gel, the layer will start to get thinner and thinner, and then you get less protection, and then you will start to feel the symptom even more. So the point of sharing today is basically to let everyone to be on the same page, whereby we should be preventing our stomach being harmed, and also to maintain its health before it comes to a stage whereby we feel the food is not friendly. So basically, we have to have this concept whereby we know that this food all are quite heavy, especially Malaysian food. Very seldom we will see it just steam or very plain food. Is seldom can be found in Malaysia menu. Okay, it's always like this: oily, spicy, fry, okay, stir fry, okay, wok hei, all that. Okay, so if let's say we ask ourselves, this is a normal checklist. If you ask ourselves, we have all these things that actually be part of our lifestyle, then most likely we are already starting to compromise our stomach health. And it's very good for us to actually start maintaining and protecting it from now. So the first one is meal skipping, irregular meal time, excessive intake of alcohol, spicy food. Just now we mentioned already, whether you have a very stressful working or even your own life, and then smoking, tension, anxiety, all this will also cause us to have this symptom. And then also another thing that we will introduce ourselves to is also this Helicobacter pylori. Okay, this is a type of bacterial infection which is very common in stomach, which we will talk more later on. Okay, so the steady use of the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Okay, so this is a type of anti-inflammatory drugs, not a supplement, is a medication that will actually also compromise our stomach. Okay, so okay, so this is actually a picture for us to know how actually it will become more serious and chronic. It always starts from just a very mild thing, like sometimes you have gastric or sometimes you feel discomfort, then you just ignore it, and then you continue the lifestyle, you continue with the diet that we always like. Okay, so end of the day, it might develop into a more long-term disease. For example, you will start become a gastric. Okay, then your mucosa start to have that injury. So when the injury or the ulcer start very hard to recover, you will leads to a chronic gastritis. So after that, you move to the stage whereby we have this peptide ulcer. So when peptide ulcer develop, it's very hard for it to recover already. So you often have people that even they already start to eat on time already, the ulcer is already there, they still feel the pain, and they already have that recurring pain at the stomach. Okay, so gastric cancer is the more serious stage if let's say it continue to develop into chronic. Okay, so like I mentioned just now, in the worldwide, actually stomach cancer is not something uncommon. Also, it's very common because it's the 5th most common cancer and the 3rd most common cause of cancer-related death. Okay, so in Malaysia itself is also very common, 6th most common cancer among men and 10 among women, right? So like I said, all these statistics just further prove that Malaysian food is actually one of the very one of the culprit for this kind of diseases that we have in the society. So other than the stomach cancer, of course, we also often heard that colon cancer is also very, very common in Asian countries because of our diet and also our lifestyle. Okay, so we are very grateful because we will not talk on the colon part, but today, of course, colon, we also have a supplementation, how to actually fine tune our lifestyle. But today, if let's say we talk about stomach, right? there are a lot of things that actually within our control. So of course, on the left-hand side, you can see things that we cannot control. For example, if let's say today you are gender, we know that the risk that we mentioned just now, certain is higher for the female, certain are higher for the male. And then of course, our age also something that we cannot control. A long time, we definitely will age. Like I said, previously, I feel very okay. I can eat very, very spicy. But now if you ask me, I will try to control, because whenever I eat too spicy, I immediately will feel the difference already. Because our body does deteriorate. Okay, so there are still a lot of things that we can actually control. For example, the controllable factors is like our diet, okay, high intake of smoke, salty, spicy, bitter foods. So we know all this will trigger the sensitivity of our stomach. Then we try to reduce it, or best to not consume it. Okay, tobacco use is also, and then stress and also sleep, something that we can control. Okay, we can actually adjust our lifestyle. We can do proper prioritization, which will also help us to ease some stress. And then infection is the things that I mentioned just now, the Helicobacter pylori. Okay, of course, we have also other bacteria which is also commonly known in our stomach environment, for example, E. coli, all that. Okay, but of course, this is always mentioned because it's causing a lot of issue in stomach. Okay, and then gastric production, and also destroy the gastric mucosal layer. So because of all these factors, if let's say it's not properly controlled, it will actually become harmful to our stomach in the long term, right? So when we talk about this Helicobacter bacteria, it's a gastric pathogen that actually colonize approximately 50% of the world population. Okay, that means in this whole world, almost 50% of people will actually have this bacteria in our body. Just that if let's say the population exceed, I mean, to a certain amount, the colonization, it might actually cause harm to our body. So when it's serious, it causes the chronic inflammation, and also increase the risk of developing the gastric ulcer disease. And then if worsen, of course, just now we saw the chart already, you will come to a stage whereby it develop the gastric cancer. Okay, so it's the strongest known risk factor for the gastric cancer that actually leads to the most of the case of the gastric cancer in this world. Right. So just now we also introduced ourselves to this protective layer, right? The gastric mucosa layer. So this is actually the layer that contains all the glands that I mentioned just now, the glands that produce our stomach acid, that produce the enzyme, all that. So this mucus is actually a layer that we should protect, okay? So it acts as also naturally, it acts as a protective barrier against harsh environment, and at the same time also it acts as a barrier to protect all these pathogens that we mentioned just now to go into our bloodstream or to affect the entire stomach ecosystem. Okay, so whenever this mucus layer has been tarnished or being compromised, that means we don't have protection. So when we don't have protection, it's very important, it's very dangerous, because we cannot stop eating, right? You have to continue eat despite the fact that our stomach don't have the protection already. So you can imagine how dangerous is it if let's say we don't really protect our stomach layer properly. So that is the reason why today we are very glad and very happy Nutrilite have, the research team of Nutrilite had come up with this product that can actually help our stomach health. Okay, so it's not something that they just simply come out and then without any study, without any research. So it's fully backed by research paper, which I'll also share briefly later on. But basically, the concept of this beverage is the combination of modern science and also the herbal wisdom. So the 4 hero products that we will always share with people is the first one. On the modern science side, we can see there's a kelp extract. And then we also have the wheat peptide. So the combination of these two, basically the role of it is to give a further protection to our mucosa layer, so that when our mucosa layer being protected well, it doesn't only give the extra protection, but it will also help to improve our digestive system. Imagine when the layer is very healthy, the glands will definitely also be healthy. So it will emit the enzyme when it's time to emit. You emit the stomach acid when it's time to emit. You will just function perfectly. Okay, and then the second part of it is actually the herbal wisdom, whereby it's the combination of ginger and also jujube. So this is the two that actually will help the one of the organ that I mentioned just now, the spleen, remember I say is on the top left of our stomach one. So that spleen, when it's being fortified, it actually increases the immune system and also the protection of our entire stomach, because this spleen actually play a role in producing the white blood cell is one of the function. And then of course, it also help the overall immune system of our body. So when this is being spleen being fortified, and at the same time, this tool is also helpful for our stomach to be nourished. Okay, how it actually nourish is because this tool is also a very high antioxidant, which we'll go into more detail later. So the first one, the wheat peptide, right, is actually obtained through an enzymatic hydrolysis process from wheat protein from a natural resources. So this, when it's being attracted, it actually give the material to actually give our mucosal layer in our stomach a better protection. Immediately, that is the material to use for that protection layer already. So on the left hand side, you can see when we have this wheat peptide, it actually strengthens the layer of our mucosa, and is very rich in glutamine. Glutamine is very important to maintain the integrity of the cell. It also helps to give a protective effect. Okay. So if you still remember, this NSAID is the short for a type of medication that actually helps to reduce inflammation. Nowadays, a lot of medication will have this NSAID inside. But the downside of this is actually it will tarnish our mucosal layer of our stomach. So if let's say you're always exposed to this kind of drugs or medication, definitely it already compromise our stomach. So this can actually give a protective to our body. And then it's also an antioxidant agent. Okay. And then the second things that actually is this fucoden. So the fucoden is also extracted from the kelp extract. So the kelp extract is the material that we mentioned just now also, but mainly is to get this fucoden. So fucoden is actually a type of sulfated polysaccharide derived from these ingredients. And then it helps to inhibit the growth of this bacteria that we mentioned just now, okay, the Helicobacter pylori. So this, when it's being inhibited, you will not over-colonize in our stomach environment. So you will actually lessen and lower the risk of gastric cancer when it being worsened. Okay, so it also shows, there's also a study showing that if let's say we always replenish our stomach with enough of fucoden, it can increase the mucus thickness of our gastric mucosa. Okay, so this is very important, especially if we have friends or family member who already have the precondition of gastric issue, then this will be very helpful to them. It also shows an anti-inflammation property. So of course, this anti-inflammation is very important. The more important thing is not from drug or medication that we said just now, okay, that will actually harmful to the layer, but this anti-inflammation is from natural ingredient, so it will actually help our body to absorb better and utilize it even better. So just now we mentioned in terms of herb, we still have the ginger and jujube. So I think ginger is also something not uncommon to us. Normally we eat ginger, or we include ginger in our dishes to actually help prevent the gassy effect right after any meal. So you can see here also explain that ginger actually possess the carminative. So carminative actually means that you actually help to prevent this gassy, bloating or belching, okay, effect after meal. So it also decrease the pressure on the lower esophagus. That means lower abdominal. That means even after the stomach, the process subsequently in the intestine, all that, you will also give a better effect not to have this gassy issue, right? So on the right, at the same time, it also a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. So you can see when they design this product, all the ingredients that they use also is multifunction. So the jujubes is one of the superior herbs, also not strange to us, okay, especially Chinese. We often use this for our when we cook herbs or when we do the soup for body to maintain general health. Okay, but this is being used in this product mainly because they have found out that it actually helps to nourish the blood and then also regulate our digestive system. So around our stomach, there's also a lot of blood vessel and also glands. So if let's say it able to regulate better, definitely it will help also. So it's rich in the bioactive compound. Okay, also at the same time, also antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties. Okay, so when these four combine together, it's become a very perfect combination for targeted for this stomach health, and it's very easy to consume. Okay, so here I want to take this opportunity to share some of the clinical trial which give us more confidence. Like I said, this is not just a product that simply produced, but also based on the very powerful research. So this research has been conducted and carried out by our Nutrilite research team in Shanghai. So there's a research paper which I'll also quote you the link later on. So mainly you can see here before the injections of this wheat peptide and also fucodone, you can see is already very in severe congestion, right? And also there's the redness also indicate the inflammation sign, okay, of our gastronomy. And then after the consumption of 45 days on these two ingredients, you can see the improvement on the right hand side. It's very obvious, right? It's very prominent. So give us the confidence. And at the same time, the clinical trial also shows that these two ingredients actually help other things, including 71% decrease in the bloating, 51% decrease in the belching, okay, 49% decrease in acid reflux, and then also 41% decrease in the gastric pain. So I also want to take this opportunity to stress out and also highlight this clinical trial and also research that they conduct is also with the placebo control study. So when we say placebo control study, they have another group of people that actually also intake the drinks that they tell inside got wheat peptide and fucodone, but actually don't have. So whenever there's a clinical trial or research that have this placebo control, I feel is very powerful research, because it actually exclude the possibility that that person become better because of psychology or because they feel good. Okay, so when there's a placebo control, that means the result of the finding is very true and very factual one. Okay, so you can see here the summary of the finding for this trial. So just now we have mentioned most of it already. So you can, this is just a summary. So gastric mucosal damage level in 70% of the subject. Okay, that means 70% of the selected people have shown improvement. Okay, over 90%, as we shown earlier just now. And then also the improve in terms of the stomach pain, belching, bloating, acid reflux, loss of appetite, and reduced food intake. All this also improve significantly based on the percentage that I mentioned in the earlier slide. Okay, so also we have an improved life quality, of course, because in the earlier slide, if you remember, one of the symptoms is that they lost appetite whenever they have the stomach discomfort or that. So if let's say you no longer have this kind of symptom, definitely you improve your life quality, because you feel you have the normal urge to eat. And then of course, by eating, you give our body the nutrition that it needs to maintain a good life. Okay, and then reduce the fecal calc peptide concentration, while increase the fecal SCFA concentration. So this is actually the protection in our digestive system. Okay, and then lastly, increase the abundance of also our gut microbiota biota responsible for producing SCFA. Okay, so this is actually to maintain a good bacteria and also good microbes inside our stomach environment. So of course, another product that we will think of whenever we talk about microbiota is our probiotics. So basically, when these two work together, is best for our stomach health. Okay, so this is summary of the product that I actually want to share tonight is our apple jujube and also wheat peptide beverage. Okay, so how does it taste like? Basically, it's very easy to consume. Just tear and sip, just like the Vision Health, the blueberry and lutein, that one. And then basically, how does it taste like? After you try, you know that it's a taste that easily accepted by everyone, because there's a cinnamon flavor and also ginger and orange flavor. Okay, so these are all natural flavor. We don't use artificial flavor in Nutrilite product. And of course, the technology is the same technology that we have in the blueberry lutein also. Okay, they are using a patented technology by Nutrilite for the purification process and also concentrating all these ingredient that I mentioned into this one sticks of beverage. Okay, so it's very pure when you consume. It's very concentrated. You know, you get the dosage that you're supposed to get in this product as stated. So it's very well controlled, the quality. Okay, so 3 years old and above can already use it. So what is the difference between what we have in the market? Okay, so far in the market, it's very hard for you to find a product that targeted for stomach. Normally, when we have the stomach discomfort or we have gastric or we diarrhea, all that, when we go to the doctor, whatever they prescribe us is medication. Okay, so far we don't see any supplementation or natural food that being given or recommended by a doctor. But of course, nowadays they do prescribe probiotics also. So that is also a reason why we know probiotics is really something that will be helpful in terms of our gut health and also intestine. So other than that, I think it's normal medication. So on the right hand side, you can see some of the sample of medication that will be given is the antacids, histamine, also proton pump inhibitors. All this is mainly for the gastric when you have a severe pain or that. This is just to inhibit the symptoms, not to really cure the root cause. Whereas on the left hand side, you can see this new product, the apple jujube and also wheat peptide. I think is very good because it's designed to actually tackle the root cause. Because if let's say we know that the root cause is you don't have a proper protection layer in your stomach, doesn't matter how much medication you take, maybe you ease for a while and then after that it comes back because the ulcer didn't eventually recover, the protection layer didn't eventually being strengthened. So I think this is more natural ingredients for us to actually strengthen it. The kelp extract, the wheat peptide, ginger, jujube, and also apple. Okay, so it's in a liquid section. The effectiveness is that it can actually nourish and protect the stomach to prevent the development of the gastric mucosal damage and of course for other discomfort issue. So there's no side effect, and then at the same time the recommended is 1 to 2 sticks per day. So my own experience of using this is that I'm not sure whether it's a good timing or what. So happened that when this product being launched, I think the next day or a day before, I have the diarrhea, and that my diarrhea episode lasted for actually quite a number of days. So throughout that 2 to 3 days, I actually start consuming this. It's a good chance for me to try out this product, right? So I actually feel that it really comforts my stomach, and then there's no bloating or what, even though when during my diarrhea, I don't really dare to eat a lot of things. So normally when you don't eat a lot of things, you will have that bloating or that gassy feel, right? But by consuming this botanical beverage, I don't really have that symptoms. Okay, so of course, for those who are still new to Nutrilite, you can always pair up with our probiotics, which also helpful for the subsequent journey. Okay, after our stomach, our food and also nutrition that our body is supposed to absorb will go to our intestine. So that is where probiotics become even more important, because that is the part whereby the probiotics act as a immune system booster, and at the same time it also helps to protect our body from having overpopulation of bad bacteria. Okay, so I will not talk too much on that, and we are also slightly over time already. We need to get everyone to the other meeting, because I think the other meeting will also share a lot of very useful tips with us in terms of Amway business. So with that, I think tonight that's basically my sharing in terms of the stomach health. I do hope you all can actually try it out and also recommend to people around us, especially our friends or family that have this stomach issue already long time. They can't find a cure, or I mean, it's not a cure, and they didn't find a way to actually improve the current situation. I think it's very good for them to try out these new products. Okay, so